Welcome to another episode of Diva Court. I'm your host, Marcia Mignot, and with me is my co-diva, Dana Smith. Government names as usual, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you live to make sure that you get your edutainment before you get your night's sleep. We've got so much to cover. This show is packed. It's so packed. It's like a suitcase going to a foreign country.
You know, when I go to a foreign country,
you take a lot of clothes.
No, depending on where I go. If I'm going to the Caribbean, I take like my purse, a big purse, and just stuff swimsuits and things that are similar to swimsuits. So I don't have.
So this show is as packed as your swimsuit bag.
Yes.
That you're gonna not check.
Exactly. Save some money.
Listeners, we are hoping you have not turned off those phones as yet, because we know that's the prescription by your doctor to get a good night's rest. Put the phone down, but not yet. You need your entertainment and your edutainment before you go to sleep. So make sure you're looking for us every week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Oh, last week you were trying to get somebody else.
You like that one then?
No, I see that you're back at trying to get Google. Don't forget to look for our videos every Wednesday when we push them real good on our channel, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Diva Court is what you're looking for.
That is correct.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming out the blocks for you tonight is going to be the not guilty. Alec Baldwin's motion to dismiss has been granted. What are we talking about? The Superior Court. The Superior Court. I'm going to do my ebonics for my co-diva over here.
That's all I understand. That's all I understand.
Listen to me. That case was just wild. It was a whirlwind of buffoonery that ended up embarrassing the prosecutor to the point where the prosecutor is probably facing prosecutorial misconduct, loss of license, bar complaint, and maybe even criminal prosecution for her behavior.
Jail time.
Woo, it was serious. Listeners, what are we talking about? Okay, so Alec Baldwin was charged because of the Russ movie killing of one of the employees on the set. And what happened is the state decided to prosecute Alec Baldwin and the armorer for the case, involuntary manslaughter. However, the charges were originally dismissed against Alec Baldwin, and they went forward with the charges against the armorer. Then the prosecutor says, we're not done here. I realized that I can have a better shot at a career writing a book. And what happened is she decided to re-indict Alec Baldwin and went to trial. What I think she re-indict. What I think she didn't plan for.
The first indictment?
Well, remember, you can re-indict a case. You don't
so
have
the first one was
yeah, because remember, if you dead docket a case, because a lot of people don't understand, when a prosecutor, listeners, brings the case within the statute of limitations, he or she can dismiss and re-indict as many times as she so desires.
I didn't know the first case was dismissed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they originally dismissed and then they re-indicted. But they have 4 years statute of limitations on felonies and 2 years statute of limitations on misdemeanors. So they have plenty of time to say, I don't think we got it right. Let's go back and investigate. Now, there is no statute of limitations on murder charges. So had this been a murder case, that would not be an issue. They can dismiss it and wait till they get good evidence and go for it. But I think the mistake was, this is clearly an accident. And the reason I felt it was an accident is because even at the time where Gutierrez, which is the first defendant that was charged and convicted by a jury, was prosecuted, nobody could explain how did a live round make it to a movie set when there were only supposed to be dummy rounds. When the state couldn't prove that or talk about that or focus on that, that concerned me. Because remember, the movie set is purchasing ammunition, dummy rounds is what it's called, and the weapons from a particular company that's what they specialize in. They provide props to the movie set. They contacted this prop company and they said, hey, produce it. We're doing a Western. This is what we're doing. And it was produced. The problem we have is the evidence in this case, in the investigation, was that the company who supplied the gun and the bullet had an employee who was working on the set. And the company did not like Gutierrez and felt like she had gotten her job only because her dad was a legend in the industry as a prop master. So there was a little bit of angst and animosity regarding her, and they wanted her gone.
Why was the company mad about that?
Well, the
they
owner
wanted their
of the
armor
company,
bearer to be there.
I don't know what he wanted, honey.
Did he have one?
He did have one there, but she wasn't the lead.
Oh, okay.
Gutierrez was. So Gutierrez was the armorer assigned on the set and the person paying. So I don't know if he felt like she shouldn't have gotten the job because her dad's in the industry. But the sad part is she had done armorer duties for another famous actor before this movie started filming. So it's not like she doesn't have any experience at all. And if her father's the guru, that means she grew up in the industry. She knows how to do this stuff. But the long story short is, at trial this week, trial started Monday, and the trial started, and how the powerhouse attorneys, Alec Baldwin had the money to do it the right way, decided to go after the prosecution because they found out in their presentation of the case that ammunition was located by an independent retired law enforcement officer. And it was brought to the prosecutors, nicely packaged by a credible source, and says, we don't trust law enforcement on this case. We're going to turn over the ammunition to you, prosecutor. What should have happened, listeners? Prosecutor should have said, it's ammunition that came from the movie set. And since live ammunition is not supposed to be at the movie set, and this is live ammunition you're claiming you found at the same set, we're going to test it, we're going to share it with the defense, and we're going to decide where the court goes with that ammunition. Did that happen, listeners? No, no, no. The prosecutor, along with some of the law enforcement and the investigators, decided to what? Put the bullets into a different package and label it with a different case number. Tis, tis, tis.
So what you're telling me is they did exactly what the person was trying to avoid in the first place. I really don't want corruption in this one, please.
I don't want corruption, so I'm going to bring it to you to corrupt it.
You know what is my favorite saying when it comes to prosecutors?
Oh my God, here we go. I don't trust prosecutors. I don't trust prosecutors. That's our hit record, listeners. I don't trust prosecutors.
I don't.
Okay, well this really adds value to your I don't trust prosecutor and just makes it one of the top 10 hit records. It just flew to the top of the charts.
That's crazy. Now, before you give your opinion, was this a motion to dismiss with prejudice?
Yeah, and it was granted. So, adios to a trial. Alec Baldwin gets to leave.
Okay,
done.
And could the prosecutor even appeal this decision?
Nope, not appeal.
Is it because it's with prejudice that you can't?
It's with prejudice, can't come back.
Okay, so even like if you did, let's say they ruled on something that you didn't agree with, can you still appeal it?
It depends. So if you're ruling on a motion to dismiss that was granted with prejudice, you cannot.
You cannot.
You cannot.
It's the judge pretty much saying, "Don't come back here. You're not here.
Don't come back now. You're here."
But can you appeal it with the?
She went Beverly Hillbillies on them.
You can't appeal it with the next court.
No.
When I mean the next court, like the appeals court.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye bye. That's why I'm saying it's such an egregious conduct that she could end up prosecuted. One option, bar complaint, lose the license. Option number 2, or option number 3, both.
Now, if a prosecutor is wise and they want to make a book, they can go after her and make a book.
There it is. Or she could take a plea deal and then do a tell-all. If you want a book that bad.
No, remember, in a plea deal, I would say, I'm sorry, you can't make any profits off of a book, because that means you would have done it on purpose so you could write a book. And we're not going to allow you to profit off of your misconduct, ma'am.
Do they have, but that would assume that that's what was in the order, though.
Okay, so let me tell you the juicy part about what really happened. So when it falls apart, the defense files this motion, listeners, and they're going to have a hearing. And before they finish, they decided to call one of the investigators from the prosecutor's office. And they cross-examined the investigator, and the investigator says, and the judge says, hold on, I have a question of the witness on the stand. Did this prosecutor, was she in part of the meeting when y'all got these bullets and said what you were going to do with the bullets? Yes, she was part of the meeting. So of course now the prosecutor is like, so she wants to now cross-examine.
Wait, are you telling me she was surprised?
She act like she was, whether she was or not.
How dare you tell on me?
So now her own witness that she called in her own case is telling the judge under oath that she was present, and the decision was made by the superiors to put it in an envelope, label it with a new case number, and stack it over there.
What happened next?
So what happened next was, Madam Prosecutor says, I'd like to call me to the stand. Wait,
so how?
She wants to testify. So after all the witnesses are called and the defense is like, and she says, I need to take the stand. And the defense was like, no.
Why would as a defense attorney, why would you say no?
Okay. First of all, you can be prosecuted for the testimony that you're about to give to the court. And there's already testimony in your case in chief that you were a part of a cover-up of evidence that's exculpatory evidence. This is evidence that could show that somebody sabotaged the movie set.
Right.
By sending live rounds to the movie set because they were upset with someone, whether Alec Baldwin, whether the armorer, whether even the woman that died. You understand what I mean? So that's another motive that could be shared with a jury, and you already convicted somebody, and somebody is serving 18 months in custody. Ma'am, as a defense attorney, I suggest you stay off the stand.
Wait, but that's in the benefit of you, though, as a defense attorney.
No, but the defense attorneys weren't really trying to put her under the bus. I think they were sympathetic by that point. They were like, look, we're here for a dismissal for our client. We know what you did. You were desperate. You probably...
I know, but why are we being sympathetic
you
to
losing,
a woman
but
who
I don't
threw
want
somebody...
you to do that.
Hey,
now.
you're losing, but we don't want you to be homicidal. Suicidal.
But
we don't want you to die.
That's why I don't trust prosecutors. You willing to you put somebody else in jail,
right?
And these defense attorneys is trying to let you slide.
They know that because they're defense attorneys. So as defense attorneys, you can't really turn that off. And as a defense attorney, with her being probably a career prosecutor, she can't see because she has blinders on. She has blinders on to the point where the testimony. Well, one of the prosecutors quit in the middle, before the hearing.
So the defense attorneys object, and the judge...
No, they were just saying, Judge, we don't want to call her. We don't need to call her. She doesn't need to take the stand. We can put up our case in chief. We can make our argument on our motion. We don't want to put her through that. Because remember, you can't be the witness and a lawyer in your case.
Okay, and then the judge said... She
said, I want to go up. And the judge was like, okay, are you certain? Yes, I want to go up. So the judge said, go ahead, take the stand. And she did swear affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and gets up there.
Who was asking her the questions?
Well, the defense now is going to ask you questions, sweetie.
Is she going to cross-examine herself?
No, she is. She is going to testify as to the circumstances surrounding the testimony of her investigator that says she was present. So she is now trying to play cleanup as to, whoa, I was aware that these bullets got there, but I didn't think that they were material. I didn't think they were important because they were coming to us almost the last day of trial of Gutierrez, the other defendant that's been convicted. So I made the unilateral decision that, we would just preserve it and then, see how we go forward.
And this is why, this is what I do like. I like that you testified to your disadvantage. How many people have you guys put
in jail for taking a stand?
Wait, you not even taking a stand. You lock people, you arrest people, you put them in a room, you do all this crazy stuff to them to make them spill their guts, and then use their testimony.
And then turn around and say, you wouldn't have said that if you weren't guilty. And look at you.
Right.
You're supposed to be a lawyer, and you're not even smart enough to know. Stay off the stand.
Because it's a fight of integrity. At that point, she believes her integrity was
in question.
Wow.
Well, your integrity is in question when you slap another case number on the bullets.
Think of it like this. It's like a juggling contest. And they're like, okay, and she claims, I'm the best juggler in the world. What you talking about? And they're like, okay, let's do it. And they juggle 10 balls, and she juggles 2 and drops both of them. And they're like, okay, you can
You're
stop.
not that great.
You're not that great. You can stop right there. She's like, no. Set these balls on fire.
throwing a chainsaw that's working.
Yeah, and you're like, whoa. We don't have to go that far.
Yeah,
you already
we don't-
lost. You don't have to do that.
Hey, you've already lost,
You
man.
already
We
lost.
don't
You
need
don't-
we don't
you
need to
don't
ruin
need
your
all that.
career. We don't.
Yes.
We know you worked hard to get your license. We know this case might have sucked you in because of the players.
No, it's just an example of this time you got caught. What other things have
Now
you
that
done?
that part is
Yeah.
what's really dangerous, because if there are people that are sitting in custody who had a public defender, who didn't have high profile attorneys, who didn't have the money to be able to investigate and dot every I, cross every T, pick up every stone, roll every rock back, pull every curtain to be able to get this type of exposure, you could have somebody sitting in.
And you know what? What makes it worse is that they didn't even have to do that because somebody came to you to say, here's the
Test it.
evidence.
Test it.
I don't trust the police officers.
Yes.
For whatever reason. That's,
But
why.
he's a former law enforcement
Right.
officer. He's not even a regular citizen
Right.
where you could be like, oh, this is a
But
conspiracy
here's
theorist.
the thing. If you don't trust your own police officers that you formerly were working with,
Yeah.
who was the leader of those people? The prosecutor.
No,
So
prosecutor's not the leader of law enforcement agencies.
He just worked with them, and he's
Yeah.
like, I know these people. are
Yeah,
terrible.
he works with them. So being a former law enforcement, he's like, these guys are corrupt. I know what's going to happen.
But they are the leader. You know why she's the leader? Because when they was like, well, what we're gonna do, I made the unilateral decision. You are the leader.
No, but here's the problem. She's not the leader of law enforcement. She has an ethical duty different from law enforcement officers. They have a different oath. You understand? They have
So when you say
they have an
investigator,
oath
you're talking about the investigator of her office.
for the DA's office. Yes.
But
No, including the law enforcement
But
people
so the
too.
investigator for the DA's office is a separate entity then.
Correct.
But
Because remember,
he-
DA's office have their own investigators that takes the evidence from law enforcement, packages it properly, make sure it's sealed and it's not tampered with, anything like, because you're getting ready to take it to trial. So the chain of custody is law enforcement comes to the scene, law enforcement gathers evidence from the scene, law enforcement makes sure the chain of custody is signed off, all the supervisors, and they preserve it. They keep it in their custody. When it's time to try the case, then law enforcement turns it over to the investigator, and the investigator makes sure that the prosecutor has access to the evidence at trial, because you have to now show the evidence to the jurors. The problem they have is almost the last day of trial for that young lady when they saw their conviction getting ready to go out the door, because now
Wait, I wonder how long the guy had the information.
not long, I guess. I guess he kept searching because he probably felt, because remember, there was evidence in the
So
media.
he was recently retired.
No, there was evidence in the media that the company who had supplied the gun and the dummy rounds had an employee that was present on the set that had thrown out ammunition, trashed it. And the prosecutor, the same prosecutor who was stupid enough to take the stand, had her testify and gave her immunity in the young lady's trial.
Did the judge ever speak to her while she was on the stand, or
Who?
it was just the defense attorneys who cross-examined
No,
her?
the judge asked her questions.
What did the
the
judge
questions
ask
the judge was asking was, were you in the meeting? Is that testimony accurate? Were you in the meeting? Yes. Where are the bullets? Because the judge, even on camera, said, bring the bullets to the courtroom.
So when she
So
said,
everybody put the gloves on.
When she said, "Where are the bullets?" Did she say, "I labeled them and put them under a different case"?
No.
She-
No. She said her understanding was that they were going to label them. She never knew that anybody was going to give them a different number. She assumed that the number they were going to get was going to be the same number of the case. So she is alleging she did not know the number was being changed.
This is why I don't trust it, right? You got this at the end of your last case.
Correct.
You could have gave this to you could even have gave it to your new case.
Correct.
So you had 2 times to be a woman of integrity.
That's what the defense was arguing. It was like, Judge, you've given them 4 chances. This is the 4th chance. We've had issues with them in producing discovery before. Number 1, you forgave. Number 2, you forgave. Number 3, come on now. When are you going to realize that the constitutional rights of our clients cannot be restored? It is so tainted that it's irreparable. You can't fix it. You've got to dismiss this
Her
case.
dignity is.
Come on, the credibility of the judicial system. Come on. Why are we having constitutional rights, due process rights?
Was all of the issues for them not getting discovery all on the prosecutor office, or was that? I mean, I guess all the discovery goes through the prosecution.
No, it has to. All the discovery has to come from the prosecution. I mean, you as
So do you
defense
think it's
counsel
the law
can
enforcement
still.
that was stopping it, or do you think it was the prosecutor? Who
I think prosecutor found out there was ammunition other than the one that she presented. Because remember,
I'm
she
talking
presented
about all the other evidence.
No, all the evidence comes from the prosecutor's
Right. What I'm
office.
saying is that do you think that she was slowing down all the other things that were supposed to be?
That's
given
what
over?
they were arguing. They were arguing that there are other things that
So it's starting that this is becoming a pattern.
This is a pattern. That's what they argued. This is a full pattern. Judge, we've been fighting with them. Turn over this. Give us this. Give us that. We get one, we don't get two. And we know that we're supposed to get three. So we'll get one, and instead of getting three, we're like, where's the other two? And we didn't give you the other two. Okay, we'll give you that. So that's frustrating for defense counsel. They're like, give it to us all so we can properly prepare our case. They were playing games with the discovery, which is not uncommon. It's just that it was aired on TV.
It reminds me of a case that somebody was supposed to get a zip drive, and the zip drive came back empty, and it was just like
all kinds of buffoonery, man. Let me tell you something. I've had them say they have my client on camera in a drugstore taking stuff. And I was like, okay, no problem. They're like, here's an offer. You're going to take it? And I was like, no, let me see her on drugstore camera. And eventually they turn around and dismiss the case because they said, we don't have no drugstore camera that shows your client taking anything. And I'm like, wow.
So they lied.
Wow. No, they're saying we don't know what happened to it.
So they lied.
It got misplaced, Judge. I've had that happen on numerous occasions.
We want to continue with the case, not a continuance. We want to continue the trial, and we just want you to assume that the video,
just
the
go
video
by
was
what we
there.
say. Go
yes,
by what we say.
The video was there.
Believe us, trust us. It was
Just
there.
trust us.
But she had a problem. And here's the thing. Her special prosecutor also resigned hours before the judge had the hearing. And the special prosecutor came on court TV today and said, look, what she testified to is inaccurate. She testified, and she said, I didn't watch her testimony, but I've heard from other individuals that she testified that I left the case and I quit because I was unhappy with the fact that the court was going to air the motions hearing on TV. And she said that is not the truth. I left because I believed in integrity, and I advised her, dismiss the case. Now that we know that there's live rounds that somebody had produced and it wasn't turned over to the defense, I think we should go back in. We have a duty, we have an ethical duty to go back into that courtroom and dismiss the case.
Okay. So here, I have issues with that too, because
You mean the prosecutor that said it's unethical, I quit?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's unethical. You need to do it. Oh, you're not going to do it? I quit. Isn't there some, like, you're an officer of the court. Aren't you supposed to report that to the judge to say, Your Honor, there's evidence that's not being submitted to the defense? Isn't that part of your ethical duty? You're so ethical, but your ethics stop with, I don't want to lose my bar card, but it doesn't go far enough to not convict somebody off of a lie that you know she's about to tell.
Well, here's what I think she was balancing. She's balancing, this person runs this office. How can I, who am not elected by anyone in this jurisdiction?
So this is the DA. Wasn't ADA?
No.
This is the actual DA.
Correct.
But still, I bet you still owe it to the American taxpayer. You owe it to.
No, you got to remember, it's kind of like, okay.
Her career would be ruined.
No, you don't know. You don't know how the court's going to react. You don't know. You understand? Your job is, look, if you don't want to listen to me, and think that you don't have an ethical duty to do this, then I'm out. I'm not going to have my name
But when it's time to testify, I will be testifying against you.
Hey, if they call her, I'm sure she would, because she was on court TV today just spilling the beans. She did not hold back. She did, some people are, well, I'm not really sure. And
But
I'm
see,
not saying that. I'm
again,
saying this.
This is another reason why I don't trust prosecutors, because y'all be playing with people's lives.
Well, they want a conviction, and prosecutors are supposed to be truth seekers. I'm telling you, when I was at the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, they are not trained to seek convictions. They are trained and they are advised that the ethical duty is to seek the truth. It's not to seek a conviction. Now, that has changed over the years, and you can see it across this country where prosecutors are now more concerned about a conviction than they are about the truth. So sometimes when evidence is pointing in, that evidence is supposed to lead the prosecutor. The prosecutor is not supposed to lead the evidence. You're not supposed to, it's supposed to lead the outcome. Oh, where's the fingerprint? Oh, there's the gun. Wait, we got more bullets? Hold on a second. We got to test those bullets. Did they come from the set? Do they belong to this firearm? Did they come from the person who was supplying? You rushed. And you rush because sometimes we're in such a salacious society now with the 24-hour news and the 3,000 television networks, and it never turns off, and we got to have something on there all the time because we can't go to bed. It's on our phones. It's, listeners, don't turn that phone off. You're still going to stay on here and watch the show. But there's so much. Information is coming from everywhere, and you have to fill these spots. So because you have to fill these spots, you get caught up in, oh, my God, and then you can write a book. Remember, the O.J. Simpson case made Marsha Clark famous. Made Darden famous.
You know,
these people are writing books. We got to pass legislation that says if you prosecute someone, you cannot profit in any form or fashion, whether during or after.
I believe it's a combination of politics has now very entrenched in the
in the judicial system.
And I believe there is an issue where it's a combination of like less of a motivation, because motivation used to be like prosecutors would seek the truth. That's correct. And then right now it's how many people can I put in jail to make my next election attempt?
Right, because I want to run for governor.
That's the only
or I want to run for senator.
That they necessarily have control over.
Right.
The climate has gotten so bad that the only change that you can really do for your taxpayers is to put more people in jail to make it seem like crime's going down.
And you're locking up your taxpayers. You know, the book should be called Sometimes It's Okay to Lose.
No. You should always seek the truth. How about
Sometimes,
that?
well,
Always seek the truth. Because if you turn it into win or lose, my book is not going to sell.
No.
My title's too boring.
No. Your title's boring. As a prosecutor, sometimes it's okay to lose. Sometimes I have a suspect and I don't know, but I'm going to give you the best case so you can help me out to solve this problem. Honestly, I would be more involved. Like, this is a murder mystery.
Tiny producer says you need to make a book.
All right, Tiny producer, give us your comment.
I honestly think that you would make a really good book, but I do have a little bit of a concern too, because like I'm sure you can probably market well, no, but there's gonna be like some people that would probably argue with how you're doing things and how the court system works, you know.
So we could write a book?
Yes. All I'm saying is that you could make a really good book.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
So we're going to make that book.
Let's do it. You can do the cases.
Maybe we should
and
call
I can
it
do
ethics.
No.
That's boring too?
No, it's boring. Let me
give us another title.
No.
Maybe Tiny producer can think of a title.
You're going to stick to the law, and I will stick to the creativity. So I'll write the creative aspects of it. You're going to write the law aspects of it, and we'll do a book together.
So
called Throw That Bitch in Jail. You know, or not.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You would write the law
I thought we had to rehire Tiny producer or fire Tiny producer last season. You said it for him?
I said it for him. He made sure to say it. I said it for him. But yeah, so you'll do the legal aspect. I'll do the creative writing with she looked slightly to the left as she gazed over to the window as the dew poured down. I'll create the ambiance.
Yeah.
That's a lot of looking.
That's a lot of looking.
The court, but I have to set the scene.
She looked down on the bullets as she removed them from the case and wrote another case number and tucked it right under her desk.
As I entered the courtroom, I forgot that I should have brought the sweater because the last time I was in here, it was 78 degrees, which was too hot. So I decided not to bring a sweater. But this time, it was sweater weather. I will do those things.
Oh, my word.
Did I tell you I wrote a book?
Okay, listeners, we're going to stay focused. Because this diva don't know how to stay focused.
Maybe this is what we're going to do. I wrote a book. We're going to collab the book together.
We'll do it on episode 100.
It's called, this is the perfect color. It's called Emerald Eyes. It's a book about murder, friendship, relationships, and a jail escape. There's a lot going on. But I'm going to show it to you.
Yeah, please.
Moving on.
Okay. Moving on. All right. So I suspect, listeners, that this prosecutor is going to face, if not one, both issues, a bar complaint and probably, well, you know what? She could face a lawsuit too, because Alec Baldwin could sue her for trying to cover up evidence that would prove that he was.
Okay, what about the lady who's already in jail? Is her case
Well,
gonna
her
be overturned?
attorney says that he's going to be filing a motion for new trial. What surprises me is that one was not already filed, because it's standard to file a motion for new trial after your client gets convicted, unless he wasn't the appellate attorney and he's decided, oh my God, Alec Baldwin's found good evidence to save my client. I'm gonna jump back in because it's possible she might have run out of money.
What about the one who took a plea?
Motion to withdraw guilty plea, I guess. Well, he didn't do no time. He just served probation.
I guess he's.
And he testified against her to save his hide.
See,
But
that's what happens.
I honestly think it is the person who supplied the bullets. I think they have gotten live rounds. I don't think it was malicious. I think it actually was accidental. But he knows that
But
he's
what
the
about
person
the
guilty.
letter that said somebody might get hurt?
That is true. There was people who resigned the day before the shooting, alleging that the set was reckless, and that these are the people who was putting the stuff out in the news, talking about how they target shooting and they were playing during breaks and stuff like that. But those are angry, disgruntled former employees, and they would be suspects at my DA's office until I got to the bottom of how the bullet got there, and then they would no longer be suspect.
That sheriff's gonna testify in her case.
Possibly.
So okay,
Because they used this guy
So
as an
the-
expert in the
so
test in the case for the young
Attorney
lady.
General of the state is over the DA, right?
No, the attorney general is the prosecutor for the state. They usually mess with big stuff. They usually don't mess with county
But
stuff.
who's in charge of the DA?
The DA's in charge of themselves. 'Cause remember, the citizen elects the DA.
So the
they can
governor-
still be arrested.
No. So is the governor over? Isn't the governor over the DA though? Like how they're like in Georgia, they're over the sheriff.
No, what's crazy is the citizens elect the district attorney, and the district attorney can be removed
by the governor, right?
by if they are charged with prosecutorial misconduct, they could be arrested just like everybody else and prosecuted in the same jurisdiction that they actually committed the crime in.
Right.
And then what else could happen is they could be reported to the state bar, and the state bar could take away their license. Now they can't be DA anymore. So you could either lose your license as an attorney or be prosecuted in the jurisdiction for the crimes that you violated in your jurisdiction.
So the sheriff falls under the governor. So the sheriff can remove. So the
Well,
governor can remove the sheriff, but he
The
can't
governor
remove the DA.
has the legal authority to replace the sheriff
But not the DA.
in the interim of an election. Because remember, if a sheriff was elected by the citizens and is being criminalized or convicted for some type of action, and the sheriff is arrested, then the governor in the state of Georgia
Can he
has
do that
the
to the
authority.
DA?
No.
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 Okay. That seems weird because it seems like it's still an elected office.
It does. It is an elected office, but you got to remember, because lawyers treat themselves a little bit. Lawyers are self-governing. That's why you have the state bar of Georgia. Like, our license is not with the Secretary of State.
Oh, okay.
You understand what I'm saying? We don't get our license from the Secretary of State. We get our license from the state bar
And like you
and the
said,
Supreme Court.
Okay.
So the courts have more power over a prosecutor because you're an attorney. You understand?
So-
prosecuting on behalf of the citizens.
So who makes the decision? Like if somebody wants the case to go to another county, who determines what county
The
that
DA
case
does. The
DA
DA,
does.
no, remember, the judge determines. If you file a motion to transfer venue, that's filed by either the state or it's filed by the defense.
Okay.
That's the lawyers in the case saying, we can't get a fair trial here. We got to move.
And then the judge rules
The
on it.
judge decides whether you've provided sufficient evidence under the law to have the case moved to another jurisdiction.
Right.
But if the judge denies it, then you don't get a change of venue. You have to try the case right there.
Okay. And then they can move it until they find a county that will accept it.
No. The judge can say, all right, we're going to move it to a sister county. And the judge will issue
But
an order.
But that DA can say, no, I'm not. Remember how there was a case that was supposed to be moved from one county and they were like, no, we're not taking it, and it moved to a different county?
No, it depends. If the court says, hey, the jurisdiction that's going to be appointed to take the case is going to be the next door jurisdiction, it's usually in the next county over. If you think the next county is too close, because if it's a public perception issue, then if I'm in the cab and Fulton is next door, I probably know about the case too. So you would try to send it to South Georgia, down in Savannah, miles away, so that you're getting a jury pool of people who really don't know what's going on because they're so far removed from the
case.
facts of the case.
Yeah.
But in terms of venue, it's up to the the attorneys to decide if they're going to file a
Okay.
motion to change the venue. But good luck to you, sis, because Alec Baldwin has
No
gotten
luck to you, bitch.
a motion to dismiss granted. Adios.
No luck to
Goodbye.
you. I hope you.
Speaking of goodbye,
I hope you rot in jail like you sent that other lady. No.
let me tell you something.
remorse.
I would file a supersedious bond for her to get out. I absolutely wouldn't have her serve not another day. The same judge who sentenced her, I would file it with that judge, and I would say that was withheld
Can
from
the
her.
judge just pluck her out of jail?
She could sua sponte do it.
Okay.
She could issue order saying, hey, put him on the calendar and bring you back into court and go ahead and have a hearing, because due process requires her to do something on the record. She can't just say, hey, let her out. That's not how it works.
Okay.
So she would put the case back on the calendar. She would call the prosecutor in, call in the attorneys, defense counsels, and say, I'm going to have a hearing. I want to be heard. I want to hear any evidence you have, or if you have a motion, or the court's deciding that I have some questions for y'all. And after I ask my questions, I'm going to make my decision to let her out.
Before we go into the next topic, wasn't your boy supposed to be getting sentenced before this Republican convention
Who?
occurred? Trump wasn't he?
Trump is supposed to be sentenced in September.
in September.
You're
Okay.
talking about the New York case.
Right,
So he's
okay.
convicted with the 34. He's supposed to be sentenced in September.
I
They
thought they
moved
had
it.
that. I thought they had it right before.
They did have it scheduled, but they moved it.
Why
So
they
they
do
moved
that?
it to September. I don't know.
They moved it after the Supreme Court ruling that presidents do have immunity in a broad
So what
sense.
was the point of them moving it though?
I don't know if they're giving time for the attorneys to do something or to look into it. Sometimes the judges are saying, "Hey, based on the new Supreme Court ruling,
Then we can-
we
in this case-
let's move it. Let's move it
Uh-huh.
to see if y'all got time to research what they're saying and go through the order, because sometimes these orders are large and it takes a lot of time to parse through them and to find case that says he can be sentenced or not sentenced." So
that, I mean, he wasn't president at the time that this happened. So that case, I mean, that's another story. We'll do that. We'll do
yeah.
that.
So listeners, we don't want to confuse you. We're gonna talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene because she needs a civics lesson in order to continue doing her duties. All right, listeners, what are we talking about? Marjorie Taylor Greene this week post on X platform that the Declaration of Independence was drafted by 6 individuals. She went on to list the names of the 6 individuals, and only 2 of them were correct of the 6. So everybody fired off. The platform decided to fact check her themselves and said, no, ma'am, you are incorrect. Diva, what's your take on having somebody in Congress that does not know who signed the Declaration of Independence?
I'm pretty sure she's not the first and won't be the last.
Oh, is that your standard?
Yeah, a lot of them, that's why they say founding fathers. They don't actually say which ones.
They
'cause
don't know.
remember.
Oh, is that what it is?
She made a gallant attempt.
Let me tell you
But
something.
the thing is, all she had to do was look it up.
She
Hey,
did.
it's
Why don't you look
in a
this up?
technology
It's
advanced
the privilege
society.
for me. It's the privilege. Why don't you? There's Chat GPT. You can have Chat GPT write your your tweeters. Your tweeters.
Your tweeters.
Yes.
They're called X's now.
Oh, your exes.
Your Xers.
Your exers. You could be like, hey, Chat GPT, who were the people who wrote the blah, 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 blah? Write me a tweet that says these things. Okay? That's all you got to do.
No, she says, I'll just be wrong.
Oh.
I'll just say it.
It's too many robots. Let me tell you something.
You think she's a robot?
Robots. No. It's too many robots in this world for us to not use them effectively. Robots are going to take over the world.
You
I'm
believe
not
that?
lying. When I went to Santa Rosa over the weekend, I was riding a BMW truck, and the truck was literally anything that you said, the truck was trying to talk and have a conversation with you. It was ear hustling. You could see the words of what you were saying written out on the screen.
Ooh.
You know how you have a text message and you accidentally push the speaker button and
Yeah.
then it starts typing?
Right.
You don't have to accidentally push anybody. It just starts saying what you were saying. To me, that's a little suspect. You know, we only got a good 10 more years before we are going to be controlled by robots.
No, thanks. I don't think so.
And you know that they already
We
create,
still have to program them.
they already create.
You ever had something they said,
Have you
we got to
not
program
seen-
and update them?
Have you not seen Marvel's
Oh, another movie? Here we
not
go.
X-Men. What is
Here
it?
we go, listeners.
What is it? What is the
Another
Avengers?
movie.
Have,
Called
did
Age
you,
of Ultron.
right?
And
Have
that's
you not
just a
seen that?
movie.
Age
It's
of
a
Ultron.
movie.
It's a
Have you
movie.
not seen iRobot? Have you not seen what's that other one that just came out?
Wow.
What's the other one with your boy David Washington in it?
Another
The creator.
robot. Another
The
robot.
creator. All of these robot technology taking over movies are true. Anything that's in the movies is just preparing you to know that you about to go into slavery. We're going into slavery by robots.
Wait. So the robot's gonna be the slave master?
Yes. Yes, they ain't got to eat. Look, how you gonna defeat a robot? They ain't got to eat. They ain't got to sleep. All they got to do is plug up.
All we gotta do is unplug them.
They can probably transform into different like cars and stuff. Oh my gosh, we about to get.
We can't do that. We
It's the
can't.
end of the world as we know it.
We
We're gonna be
can't-
taken over by robots.
We can't be taken over by robots.
Watch,
I'm sorry.
you gonna start getting pet. Look, they already got pet robots, little dogs to be walking around, and you gonna fall in love with it. Then people already got robot boyfriends and girlfriends. You know,
worry.
they got bots that send you text messages. Did you hear about
Yeah, don't worry. I'm pretty sure we're perfectly fine, and we're not going to get taken over.
That's
by
what they
robots.
want you to think. Did you hear about?
I think Tiny Producer is correct. I think you are wrong.
Did you hear about the Ashley Madison story?
No. Is it in a movie too?
No,
Okay.
this is a documentary. So Ashley Madison is this this relationship app or website where you can meet
Robots?
no, you can meet other people who are married and have relationships with them on the low low.
Oh, that's not nice.
So what
That's
would
the opposite of
happen
nice.
is that they will have all of these women who signed up for these relationships, and they will have their pictures of all these beautiful women who are allegedly married. And then what they would do is have bots for
Typing
the men,
back.
right, for the men who were, signing
So
on.
you're just talking to
You
somebody.
would be talking
You in a
to
chat
a bot.
with a robot.
Right, because you know how many women are really signing up for these rendezvous? You know what I'm saying? And so
So we just talking on the
you
chat?
just talking to bots.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
Well,
saying.
I mean, if you want to pay to talk to a chat, that don't mean
but
a
no,
bot
no, they didn't think they were. They would think they were
talking to a human
talking to
being.
an actual human
Wow.
being.
Wow. That's good. Good luck to you if you crazy enough to be bot chatting.
Because they would.
Marjorie need a civics. I think you need a civics
That's what we was
lesson,
talking
though.
about. I don't know how
Yeah,
we
you
got
went
on-
off the bots, but I'm gonna go back to Marjorie. No,
Madison
you were
and
saying that
Marjorie-
Marjorie could have asked the
Chat
chat.
GPT.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, I
So
see how I got
that's how
there.
you got there. But we're gonna take it right back on the racks and put it right back on the tracks. Marjorie, you need a civics lesson, ma'am. You need a civics
or a
lesson.
Chat GPT.
Something, but don't be bleach blind typing anymore in X. Okay.
Bleach, blonde, butch body.
Yeah. Bad builds.
Bad build,
butch body. Okay, so sit down, Taylor Green, because God help you with that foolishness.
Bad
All right.
brain. That's what you should say.
So-
Bad brain.
So there is a man somewhere around Gwinnett County, Georgia, that has scammed $200,000
Why we going there?
out of clients
Why
for
we
real
going there?
estate.
That's supposed to be last.
Because no, we got to go there. Marjorie Taylor Greene is scamming folk to thinking she's a real senator, and the realtor is scamming folk out of their money, thinking they are going to buy a house. How do you have one man sell one house to all these people? One lady said that she wired $30,000 to this man, never met him. Never set eyes on him, never seen him. So now he's on the run. We got a suspect photo of him here in the state of Georgia. They said that they were looking for him because he was in Gwinnett County regarding this house he's selling to several people as a law group. He's supposed to be a law group.
Okay, so as a realtor,
Do you play one on TV?
I
Oh, I'm
find-
sorry. You play one on Diva Court.
yes, I find this to be very suspect. First of all, sometimes people who get scammed, you have to be like, did you deserve it? Like, couple of things. The first thing is that why are you sending, is this a cash house? Are you paying all in cash? Are you paying in hard money? Like, are we not doing inspections?
No, I'm wiring
we-
it from my
I know,
my
but
bank
what
account.
it
Well, people were
starts
doing
with
that.
it starts with contracts. No,
People
all of
were
that-
doing that.
All this can be true, but there are so many steps before you even send that much money. Earnest money. Did you have someone lay eyes on the property? Like, even if you find somebody who wants to sell a house, you don't have somebody representing you. You would rather lose what, $15,000 for someone to represent you.
Yeah, I don't want a realtor. I can cut the 8% out and the 4% out, and I can keep that money if I could just go right to the buyer, because the buyer owns their house. What's wrong with that?
But no, the seller. But the buyer. So when the buyer pays, they more than likely the seller is the one who is losing the money on the other side. So the buyer the commission comes out of the seller side. So the buyer doesn't have to pay extra. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm not losing anything if I'm the
No.
buyer and I go ahead and get a realtor?
Right. So if you have a realtor, right, and they say my percentage is 3%, right? So when you go to the seller to attract people to your house, the listing agent for the seller will say, pay me 6%. I'll keep 3 for myself. I'll split the other 3
With the other realtor.
with the realtor.
So
realtor.
the buyer is not really affected
Right.
by.
But let me clear this up. Contracts. It all has to be in contracts. It all has to be transparency. If the seller is not offering that, then yes, the buyer will have to pay. But a lot of times to get
So you
buyers,
just need to negotiate that.
You got to negotiate. A lot of times
Well,
to
that's
get
too much
buyers-
work for me, honey. I have 30,000 that I could just wire to this scam artist
And that's the thing.
with
like,
this law group,
how
and I
much-
could just
wait,
get my
how
money.
much money? How much money do you hold when you easily letting 30,000 out?
Because I purchased the property and I sold the
What-
property out of state.
What clean
and
title?
I need a house.
Where are you getting your clean title? Why are you, before you cut a check, what are you not making sure that the title is clean?
What title? They're gonna sign it at the closing, right?
But but the check should be cut at closing.
Correct. So the
With the
real
closing
estate,
attorney.
the closing agent and the closing attorney, they're gonna
Oh,
take
so they
all the-
went through a closing.
No. They wired the money, and then the man's phone cut off, and he wasn't calling anybody back. And I'm shocked he got to 200,000. There's at least 3 victims that have come forward so far. Channel 2 WSB TV is doing a special report on it this week, and I was like, oh my God, who's doing that in 2024? Wiring money to somebody you've never set eyes on and purchasing a house that you don't go check the deed and you don't see does this, and you haven't watched television and see all these real estate scams that's going on. I mean, even Zelle is saying, hey, before you send money, Western Union,
Right.
hey, before you
Before
send
you-
money, everybody's warning you before you send money.
Right.
Figure out who you sending the money to.
Too, because
And
you're
you
not
said,
gonna get this. When it tells me you're not going to get this back, that's when I might have. I should already have my second
Yeah.
thought, but I'm definitely
but
gonna
the
have my
flag's
second thought.
really going up.
Right.
And I'm really gonna verify.
Before I send you this $30,000, unless $30,000 is a drop of a bucket,
I'm not unless we meet.
Okay.
I need to meet you.
I need to lay eyes on you.
Yeah, I gotta see you. We
I
gotta
need to
go
see
somewhere.
this property, but
Yes.
maybe they saw the property, maybe they walked.
They
through
did see the property, but I don't think they walked through. I think it's the internet look of the property because the pictures and good,
But
pictures.
but the property's in Georgia, right?
Correct. It's in
They
Gwinnett.
probably walked through the property. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they met the guy, they seen the guy, they
No,
walked.
one of them said she never set
Never
eyes
seen-
on him.
I was
and she
trying
said
my
she would never do that again. It's
Speaking
too late.
Speaking of scams, there's a scam going around where somebody is, you'll be on your computer and you'll get this pop-up that said they're taking over your
computer.
your computer, and you have to do X, Y, and Z in order to get the money, or in order to free up your computer. And they will tell you to go to the bank and get gift cards to pay this off, and don't tell nobody.
Oh, that's psychotic.
And
That must be happening to old people. That ain't happening to no young
what they're
person
saying is
with
that
no sense.
they are the CIA, so they have contacted you. say
Wow.
that I'm the CIA.
Wow.
And this is what we need you to do.
So the CIA has got nothing better to do than to call me for
you.
gift cards?
And you need to get these gift cards in order.
Sure, I'll be right there. I told you that happened to me years ago before it was popular. Somebody emailed was like, "Oh, I have all your pictures." I was like, "You can keep them. I got the family." I don't need the damn
Did you ever get your pictures
I
back?
no, because I wasn't gonna pay for it, and I took some more pictures of my family. And guess what? They still mine.
Were they old pictures of the kids when they were younger?
They were younger, yeah, but it didn't matter because they were still young when they took them. So when you're trying to extort money out of somebody like me, wait till the kids grow up, then take the baby pictures,
Take the baby
and
pictures
then
when they
say
grown.
you're not getting these back unless you pay for them. Other than that, I'll just take more baby pictures because they were still babies.
You remember I was telling you, I'm gonna wear this and be like, hold my belly and stick it out, and like this is when I was pregnant.
What it did to our children.
Apologize for that, but we'll get that.
Okay.
Well, you could put your grown kids in diapers and say, take these.
Put these
baby
diapers
pictures.
on so I can take some baby pictures.
Can we drink to that? Because I ain't drink all day.
Oh my God, you drinking the diapers for grown kids?
So I'm just gonna say this: if you guys need a real tour,
You play one on real life?
I play one in real life. Just shoot us a comment in the comment section, and I will contact you.
Wow.
Yes, I will.
All right, listeners.
And you can actually, and I will take you to a closing attorney where you will hand your money over to those people,
and it will be a real
not
closing,
me.
not a fake one.
All right, here's your MTG quote of the day.
Okay.
I think you might like this one.
What it did to our children's math and reading levels is horrific. There are 524 and 481. This is over 1 million, 1.5 million. What it did to our children's math and reading.
You must be one of them children.
Listen to me.
Because your math and reading is both off, okay? You can't read 1,425,326. You can't say that?
Hey, the standards have really, maybe she got affirmative action. Because, there's been rumors that affirmative action
affected white
lowers
women.
the standards for people of color. I think she's gotten affirmative action somewhere. Because the standards.
No. Affirmative action only benefited white women, is what.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that must be one of them. Because she clearly didn't have to learn how to read, write, or count. Okay? Or learn civics.
My daughter, who is 8, is learning about expanded numbers. I mean, did
Poor
she just
thing. Messed
Oh my
that
goodness.
all the way up? Yeah, that's crazy. Speaking of crazy, something crazy happened this week.
That is true.
Okay, listeners, we're going to try to catch our breath and move through this one very quickly. There's a 20-year-old
Very carefully too.
young man that attempted an assassination on former President Trump. I'm going to take a deep breath right there. It is a tragedy in this country when we have turned to third world politics that we are attempting to kill our opponents. Diva Court does not, under any circumstances, condone violence of any form or fashion. Okay? Now, that being said, there was a lot of blame to go around regarding the incident. First blame goes to local law enforcement. Local law enforcement, based on the reports, had interaction with this young man before he made it to the roof. Local individuals who saw the young man climbing the roof said, "Hey, look, he's climbing the roof. He's got a gun," and was trying to bring it to the attention. The young man turned the AR on one of the local law enforcement who was using that exact same building as an alleged bunker of some sorts. Like they were using it as a place where local police and we were going to use it as a place where we would come and go from. The location is also outside of the perimeter of Secret Service. So local law enforcement, based on my understanding, was responsible because we're now outside of the Secret Service perimeter. So local law enforcement, you are to be blamed because local law enforcement could have taken the threat out before it even got to the roof, had they done something about it quick enough. Second issue you have is Secret Service is to be blamed. Their perimeter clearly was not wide enough.
Right.
Because the perimeter, according to the early reports, because I know they're still investigating what happened, it was a 400 feet perimeter from where the young man was to where Trump was, and that's outside of the perimeter. And I was like, wait, you got an AR that's got that kind of firepower, and we don't need to be further away? Okay, Secret Service, you got a problem there. Okay, the blame is also to be placed on some of the rhetoric that a lot of elected officials are playing with. And Dr. Fauci just said it when he was promoting his book about a month ago, and he came on Good Morning America, and his response was when Steve Bannon came out and said, we need to put somebody's head on this stick and somebody's head on this stick. And people are like, you can't say that, Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon's response in an interview was, oh, it's a figure of speech. Dr. Fauci, they asked him about that statement that Steve Bannon was making, and Dr. Fauci's position was, no. You don't understand. Of 500, you could just have 499 that think it's a figure of speech, but that one crazy is all you need for somebody's life to be at risk. Dr. Fauci was expressing that he was getting death threats, that people were talking about his conspiracy, how he made money off the pandemic, and he was in cahoots with China. I mean, it went wild. And that his concern is for his family's safety. And people are like, whatever, you deserve it because you part of China and you part of this and you told us 6 feet and it's not supposed to be 6 feet and yada, yada. Somebody who has been doing infectious disease control all their entire life. The man is like 84 or something like that. Looks great for 84 though. Takes good care of himself. But my point is, blame is to go around to the politicians and the elected officials and the people who think it's nice to get on there and play games to try to get people to vote for you by riling people up. Next person to be blamed, media. The media is playing games, a deadly game in how they report, want to be first to the news, want to be more salacious, want to have more people watching, want to take people's words and paraphrase them and say, what I really think he was trying to say. No, just report the news.
Right.
What did the person say? What did the picture show? Stop adding your spin on it, Spinderellas. And that's another person to be blamed. All right, I'm going to get to the ultimate person to be blamed. There was plenty of blame to go around, and I'm going to give some to Donald Trump. Once the incident occurred, Secret Service was supposed to, textbook, make a body shield around him, and they did. They jumped on him, and there was a body shield. But once you jump on the target, you got to get the target out of the area.
Right.
The vehicle was brought close enough to the stage. This is a vehicle that's protected. It's got all kinds of shield. It's got all kinds of bulletproof this and bulletproof that. The goal is move the target to the vehicle and get the target out of the area. There's too many people here. We don't know how many shooters we're dealing with. We don't know what's going on. Get the target out. He's already been hit. Instead of following the instructions, because you could see one of the female Secret Service agents that was trying to get Donald Trump to go down, you could see him still forcing his head up. One of the recordings showed him saying, I don't want to leave my shoes. I need to get my shoes, when they were like, no, we got to go. This is an emergency. Now is not the time to worry about your shoes, sir. We'll get your shoes later. Let's get you to the truck. But the most egregious portion of what I saw in terms of his action and the role he played was when he wanted to use the moment as a photo op. And he was still trying to push his arm up to get like, oh, we strong or Sir, you are putting Secret Service and yourself at risk with the delay that it takes for you to be getting that photo op.
You don't know what's happening.
Because you don't know how many shooters you're dealing with. And remember now, his head at one time, if you look at the video footage, was actually exposed to the point where the female looked like she was putting her hand up to cover his face at one point, that if she had to take a bullet, she wanted it to be able to go through her hands before it would actually hit his face. It was a tragedy. It's to have our country come to the place where with just like third world countries. This is things that you would see in a third world country. And I'm not saying that assassination attempts have not occurred, because most people don't even realize one was made on President Obama. People are like, what? President Obama?
When did that happen?
When did that happen? Yeah, when he was president. Okay? So my point
Was
is,
it like somebody tried to shoot him?
yeah, turn it down. Remember, they also entered the White House when he was there. And everybody was complaining, like, where was Secret Service? Because remember, the man had made it into the White House.
I remember over the fence.
No, not over the fence, in the door.
No, I know there was
And
one,
somebody who was going off duty was like, what is this dude doing?
I know it was one who made it over the fence. I know there was one. It was a couple who somehow managed to come into a party.
Right.
I remember that one.
And then there was one where a person made it through the door. They were inside, and it was somebody who was leaving work, that was like, what is this dude doing in the White House? So there is.
Was the Barack Obama attempted assassination, was that like at a rally or something?
I don't know where it was, and I didn't research it, but when they started showing all the presidents who an attempt on their life, they covered Ronald Reagan. He actually was shot. And in fact, there was paralysis in his situation, because I think somebody who was with him was paralyzed. I can't remember the gentleman's name now. But as it pertains to the assassination, they were going down the list, and Barack Obama was on the list. And I was like, whoa. So we actually have to get to a place where we can disagree about policies, and we can disagree about where we think the country should go. We can disagree about all that stuff, but we got to tone it down.
But this isn't the first time he's been in this kind of situation.
It's not. It's not.
He's been there was an attempt.
2016.
There was an assassination attempt on him before.
I think somebody was trying to rush the stage or something. I remember it being like a
I
scuffle.
think it's some type of rushing the stage, but they stopped it at that point. But my point is that the media has got to stop playing this game of, let's go look if he's a registered Democrat. You know what I'm saying?
But
and in fact, some of the officials have started saying that.
He is Republican. He's a conservative.
They said that he donated to the Democratic Party
$15.
$15, and he registered as a Republican.
But that's my point.
Like,
it's
nonsense.
like, what
Why
are
we
you
even
talking
asking
about?
about
Yeah,
that?
what are you talking about?
It's another political ploy.
Game. It's gamesmanship.
Instead of just going through and saying, yo, this kid
Hey,
was actually crazy.
Crazy?
Which
Or
person,
maybe he
20-year-old shouldn't have a gun.
which person does an assassination attempt with iron sights, by the way?
You're going to have to explain that to us and the listeners.
He's not using a scope.
Well, he was.
He's just using the two little metal pieces on top of the gun
Oh, okay.
to look at you. He's not using no scope. He's not using no thing that enhance your ability to shoot
to see. Yeah. And that's why Donald Trump was lucky, because when he turned, it looks like he didn't even realize that his head was not facing the direction, and because he turned, that's how it grazed the ear. Because remember, if he was facing the other way, it wouldn't be a graze.
A lot of people thought they were shooting from behind due to the fact that the person that was in the stands slumped forward after getting shot. So people thought, oh snap, there's someone behind us.
Right.
So people don't even know where it
was coming from. That's true, because a lot of the witnesses said that they couldn't tell where it was coming from. And remember, you're outdoors, so sometimes when a weapon is getting fired from outdoors, you're hearing the echo.
Yeah.
So the echo of the firing is like, is it coming from over there? Is it coming from you? You don't know. They were just telling everybody to get down, but they actually have to stop.
You know, it got so bad that people started saying that it was, all these different conspiracies about how it even happened. You know what I'm saying?
Usually like in these situations, it's very simple. Like, it's a very simple explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
it's not complicated.
A lot of these guys, a lot of these assassins, I should say, or not even attempted assassins, are non-political in any way. Like, they're very centrist. Most of the times, it's just them being like crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're schizophrenic and you don't even know.
That's what the kids were saying,
And
people who went to high school with him, because the only thing they could show was a high school graduation picture. He's not a member of any group. He's not he didn't pledge Al-Qaeda. He didn't do none of
the
that.
guy
They
who
just
shot
said,
Ronald Reagan didn't do it because he didn't like Ronald Reagan. He did it because he liked some celebrity and wanted to impress her.
yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy.
some-
But they
Or at
did. They
least
said he's a
that's
loner.
what they tell us.
He's a loner, and they said he was very quiet, according to his
They
classmates.
consider him
Very quiet. Even
an
his neighbor
incel
is
at that
like,
point.
you got to be kidding me. This kid bothers nobody. He doesn't get in fights. He doesn't do anything. Just a loner. And those are the people you have to be careful of in terms of you giving him an AR. They checked who purchased the AR.
And you know
It was
this
the
kid
dad.
is super
2013.
white by when they call him a kid.
That's true.
And they call him a smart kid because he
Yeah.
had bomb equipment in the back of his car.
That's true.
Oh, he's just a young, smart kid.
I mean, he was, not to give him too much credit, but he had a good shot. When I mean good shot, like not a good shot at shooting him, but more so like if he wouldn't have turned his head to not have a scope and all that was, he might have been at home.
No, well, you got to
playing
remember the
video games.
firepower that you're coming with. Remember, one person died and like 4 people total were injured.
Was it what was that AR shooting? Was it what kind of bullets? Because you can get an
I can
AR
look
that's a
up
22.
Isn't it a rifle? I think it was one of those AR rifles.
Right, but it can shoot different kind of. You can have an AR that shoot 22
Because there's different
bullets.
type of AR,
Right.
ARs that you can have.
But
They
I
don't
think it's
all-
the rifle. I think they said it was a
but
rifle.
it
that
can
he
look
had.
like a gun that you would take to war, and it only shoots 22s. You know what I'm saying?
It shoots pistol bullets, or it can shoot like 316s.
It depends on what you're buying.
Yeah.
Because remember, the same thing with Kyle Rittenhouse is the type of bullet that they had inside the gun. And that's how he had gotten into issues, because he didn't have the gun legally, and that was a problem. Because remember, they crossed state lines to go purchase it and bring it back over. Medic. But he was fortunate, so
Medic is
he got a
They can do ARs can do 22s, or they can do 5.56.
right.
So it's honestly just depending on how much you want to spend.
Yeah.
right. Well,
Did they say what kind of bullets he used?
I'm assuming, since he didn't bring no sights and he didn't bring no irons, I'm assuming he shot 22s.
22s. Yeah, for his ear to just be.
grazed.
Grazed.
They
If
grazed
it was anything bigger, it would have more
took
than
it off.
grazed. It would have.
Yeah.
Just the sound would probably would have took it off.
Look, it's dangerous out there, because you only need one crazy
Yeah.
to ruin people's lives and to ruin the lives of their family. So I am prayerful that nobody will try to use this as a political.
That was my next question. Do you think that locks up they got the picture.
All right,
Whatever-
we got a quick comment from Tiny Producer.
Tiny producer, come on in.
All right, what's up? It's Tiny Producer, and all I'm just trying to say is that I hope that Donald Trump learns from this and learns that he is not invincible. One of these days, death is going to catch up to him.
Well, I think it's going to catch up to all of us,
Yes,
but we're
it
hoping
will.
that it will happen naturally,
Right.
and
Like in
not
our
because he's stupid and making bad comments. So I do agree with Tiny Producer that we are hopeful that Donald Trump will understand that it's important to turn the rhetoric down and to not make salacious or inflammatory comments just to be elected, and understand that he is very fortunate to still be here with his family and for his family, so that he does not rile up another crazy to come and try to make an attempt again. One of the things you have to remember, presidential candidates don't do rallies. So outdoor also brings another element to the level of safety, because I'm outdoors. Do you know I can't control all the trees as
can't
Secret
control
Service?
all the
I can't
elements.
control all the elements. But if you put me in a building, then I can sweep the building. I can make sure certain people don't make it into the building. And now I can protect you better, because we're in a closed quarters.
Right.
So the rallies, that was
Gotta
bringing
stop.
another level to the security.
So, do you think that this is going to give him the edge in the election?
I don't think so. Not if the American people pay attention.
You gotta come on.
So-
come
so
on.
hold
We
up,
talking
hold
about
up.
emotional,
So hold
emotional
up.
America.
That's what I'm telling you. And if we don't speak about it, then we're not going to change it.
okay.
So if the American population stays focused on policy, on the future of the country, on the economy, on the things that are important in terms of our children, the educational system, the things that people are in need of, health care, the things that people are in need of, Social Security, to make sure the elderly is getting medication and that the services are available to these people. Because remember, this country was founded on we the people, not I the person. And if that occurs, because I still have hope, I can't lose hope. People who lose hope are people like him. You climb on a building, you do something stupid. You have to have hope. So I am hopeful that the American people will come out of their emotions, step back for a second and say, I can't vote for a person just because somebody tried to assassinate them. That doesn't make them more qualified. An attempted assassination doesn't make me more qualified. If I wasn't qualified the day before my ear got pierced, I'm not qualified the day after.
Everything you say makes sense, but Oh, you're so naive.
Oh,
I think people already decided at this
You're so
point.
naive.
They've seen who the candidates
Do you-
are.
that's my point
They've
too.
already
It's like
decided.
people who are pretending
hold on.
as if they don't know who they're gonna vote for
Hold
yet.
on
To
for a
me,
second.
you're a liar.
Hold on for a second. Did you not see this post? It's about to go on everything. The American flag is waving behind him. He has his fist up in the air. It's giving.
Photo op.
It very much
Oh,
so is giving
okay.
photo op. It puts you in the mind of, when they were pushing the American flag, like 3 guys behind was claiming the stake. I don't know where they were pushing this flag. I don't know if it was Alaska or on some doomsday, and they were lifting the flag up. You know what I'm talking about? That statue with the 3 people pushing the American.
There's a statue with something by the flag and people holding it up
like
or
that.
something like that.
That's what
it was. A little bit of propaganda in that, but
right.
because they did it after the fact.
Well,
Like it was happening. Like they were trying to say it happened during the battle, and then they were like,
which battle was this?
This was.
Was it American Revolution?
No, this was
or
World War II.
World War II. Okay.
I believe it was World War II in the
Doomsday. I would say something like a
one of the
doomsday.
Japanese islands, I believe.
Okay.
And they were putting back. They were saying they were doing it while the fighting was happening, but I think they.
It was
didn't.
after the fact
It
we
was
picked it up.
After the fact, let's do a photo op for it again.
Yeah. So that's what is give, and I'm telling you, so many fringe people, so I'm on this app, the Clubhouse app, and it's all the people who are honest about their feelings that they don't share it
Anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. And so many people are like, yeah, that was great. You see that?
I think
He's
if
so
it
strong.
happened-
He's heroic.
If it happened closer to the election, I'd probably agree. But Americans are very forgetful.
Yeah, they
There's
are
that.
forgettable.
Give it
No,
enough.
but that photo op is
It's
that
a
they
wonderful
gonna
photo op, but
plaster
you
that
got-
Let me tell you
picture.
something.
August, September.
There's a lot of
October.
time. And just last week we were talking about Joe's bedtime. And now we're on to something else. People forgot. Now he's playing president
The
because
news-
Joe is playing president very
I know.
well.
Okay, so-
he's up late. He's having press conferences. He's talking to the country. He's saying
Okay.
turn it down, dial
Wait,
it down.
wait,
He's
wait.
also turning over
No,
the Department
no,
of Justice and
wait,
saying, hey,
wait.
give him more security.
Wait.
Do all the things that you're supposed to
his-
do.
So after the assassination attempt, you know how long his speech was to talk about this situation? You know how long it was?
It better be 5 minutes
It
because
was-
I really
it
don't
was
want to hear
shorter.
about longer than
It was
that.
like 2 minutes.
Perfect.
But
Perfect.
no, but you
Perfect.
I understand the sentiment, but again, this was like a monumental situation.
Was it monumental for Obama to the
And
point where you don't even know that it happened?
Do you know how it happened?
I don't know. That's what I'm telling
Right,
you.
but what
It's
I-
not monumental when the black president was attempted. We didn't.
Listen,
where's the monumental there?
I understand.
Matter
I'm
of fact,
not-
did anybody
that's
come out and
not-
do a speech?
Don't tase me, bro. I'm not debating that.
Nobody
I agree
came
with
out and
you.
did a speech.
I agree with you, but the difference is this was on camera, so the American people saw it. You know what I'm saying? This would have been a great moment for Biden to make this 2 minutes a good solid 20.
For what?
To show, okay, again, it goes back to he can only do a speech for 2 minutes.
What? No, hold on now. So what would he need to talk about for 20 minutes?
That's a good question.
I understand that.
20 minutes is a
It-
long
it could
time,
be
trust me.
the-
20
okay,
minutes is a
I
long
get it.
time.
Or whatever. 2 minutes was like too short. But what I'm saying is that the ops already about him is that he can't have a conversation longer than 2 sentences, and an assassination attempt occurred, and you managed to put everything in 2 minutes, compared to really showing,
Describe it, because you got conclusive statement. I'm really trying to get to what I would, as a president, I'm president. There's a former president that an assassination attempt was made out.
He didn't
One
take
of the
no
things,
questions.
what the hell are you asking me? I didn't shoot him. I didn't shoot at him. I wasn't there. Now you want me to speculate so y'all can go back and take something I said to use it as a commercial? No,
So
he has to be careful.
I need for you to take off your Biden hat and your
take off my lawyer one too.
Your
I got to take off
pen.
my lawyer hat.
No.
That's my problem. Is you got to shut up. Remember, words matter. One of the things too you have to be careful is that if too much attention
did the middle
is
of my
given
sentence
to
interfere
this
with
little
your
boy,
first?
then you're going to get copycats. There are going to be people like, what? He got that much attention? I want some of those attention too. Now you got a copycat going out here trying to do
Attorney
something.
Mignot.
It's a balancing act, sweetie.
Attorney Mignot.
It's a balancing act.
Did the middle
Balance
of my
it,
sentence
say it,
interfere with
shut
the
up,
beginning of your
and go back to
sentence?
bed before you create something that doesn't exist yet.
Attorney Mignot.
Let me tell you something. You know what we learn as lawyers?
Attorney
Let me help you
Mignot.
with this. Sometimes there was something that happens at a
Mignot.
trial. And let me tell you what a judge will say. And you're like, Judge, I think the jurors should get an instruction regarding that. And the judge is like, do you realize that these jurors probably didn't even figure out what happened? I'm going to put it on the record, but I don't think we should bring more attention to it by me saying to them, jurors, I'm gonna give you a special instruction. What happened is this witness said something, and the witness, they're like, that could bring more attention to it than you want to bring.
Attorney Mignot.
Hello?
You're speaking from a common sense perspective.
Oh, you're speaking from what?
But
A gamesmanship?
This is yes.
Okay.
This is America.
So more gamesmanship
if I
should be
can-
exercised
if I
by
could-
Biden
if I could-
by stretching out 20
if I could
minutes
finish-
to just keep talking
if I
about
could-
something you don't know nothing
if
about.
I could finish,
Go right ahead.
thanks. So what I'm trying to say is, and we have talked about this, the Democratic Party does a poor job of PR.
There's no
I'm
PR to
just
be
not
had
gonna- I'm not gonna
in the
every
attempt to
I'm
kill
not-
a former
can I-
president.
May I finish, please? May I?
No PR there.
There's always
That's improper,
there's-
insensitive for you to try to use that
Attorney Mignot.
as an opportunity to be elected. I would be pissed off at Biden if
Attorney
he tried to
Mignot.
use it as an opportunity to be
Attorney
elected.
Mignot.
In fact, I wouldn't vote for him if he did that.
Attorney Mignot, what I'm saying is
This ain't a show.
what I'm saying is that this was a time. If President Obama would have been out there, it wouldn't have been a 2-minute speech.
But just think of it this way: your opponents are gonna damn if you do, damn if you don't.
I
Because
understand,
they're
but
gonna be like,
you,
he spent 20 minutes
Talking
to
about something he didn't know
politicize
nothing
and
okay, but
campaign when he
the-
should have been worried
what
about.
you what
Correct.
the look now right now.
But then he said then you can say he only spent 2 minutes when he should have spent 20 minutes
Correct.
talking about it's a damned if
I-
you do, damned if you don't kind of thing.
The image of Biden is
It's an
he
old
can't-
man.
Is he can't get through a few sentences.
His
He's-
date of birth ain't gonna change.
He's tired.
His age is
He's
not
tired.
gonna
he's not
change.
able to hold. a
Most old people are.
He
I
isn't.
think you guys.
I don't know nobody in their 80s
Okay,
that's
can
not
we-
tired.
Hey,
I'm agreeing with you.
hey. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, I understand that what I'm saying is not like what should be done in a world of ethics, but we live in America.
What are you saying? America's an unethical country?
Yes, I am.
Wow.
And-
What percentage would you attribute that to?
How America began.
No. We're not talking about how it began. We're talking about
Well, do
what
you
it
know,
is now.
Out of all of these topics we just had, 69% of them was about corruption.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So
50
Marjorie Taylor Greene not knowing who signed the Declaration
corruption.
of
You know why?
Independence
How did you
is
even,
corruption?
Yes. How did you even manage to win an election?
In a green county where there's less blacks and,
less
more
ethics,
green.
and less ethics. Okay. I said 69%. So the Florida, the Trump case we're about to get to that was dismissed. The realtor who was slanging illegal stealing money, that was, Alec Baldwin and the prosecutor, that was another. All the topics we've been talking about is corruption. This is America. This is America.
Oh, so I don't believe that 69%
Of
of
the topics that
America-
we were talking
No,
about?
No, not your
I
topics.
said 60-90% of the
60
topics we were
I'm talking about the country.
I didn't compare it to the country. I
No,
said,
you have to compare it to the country because you're now pivoting from what Biden should do in order to be able to get votes and to show the
No.
people that he can stay awake late instead of showing me what he's going to do for a policy. I'd rather for him, let me tell you something.
I couldn't even finish my
Because I'm
statement.
an
I
employer.
understand where you come
Because
from.
I'm an employer, I would rather an employee come to work and do at least 4 hours
We
worth of
get it.
work
You're gonna
and
vote-
go home
Attorney Mignon.
than to pretend like
This
they're
is not
doing
for you.
work
Attorney
for 8
Mignon.
hours on my job
Mignon.
and take my money
Attorney
and
Mignon.
do absolutely
Attorney
nothing.
Mignon. This conversation is not for you.
Oh, the
It's
optics.
not for you. It's the yes.
Okay.
This is not to convince you.
Mm-hmm.
This is like you said, I don't know who these middle ground people are, but this is for those middle ground people.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They need to I don't know any other president who wouldn't have been up there longer. You know what I'm
Why
saying?
do you assume they'd be up there longer? Because of their age?
The point is that if they were up there shorter, no one would question like
Because of their age.
because exactly.
So we tying everything
not
to
even
his
because
age.
of his not even because of the age. It's also because of your previous performances. Like anytime you show up, it's never really like what is he gonna say? What is he not gonna say?
Because of his age. We are scrutinizing. We're
But
hypocrites.
if it's because
We can't-
Okay, but then
You
this.
cannot
If
say
it's
you're
because
not
of his
scrutinizing
age,
what is he
if
going to
it's
do because of his age.
Listen, I think they both old and don't need, neither one of them need to be running. But if,
That's why Trump picked a running mate today that was in his 30s.
Right.
Because
But-
he's smart. He want to be
but
able to
if
say,
it
oh,
is-
don't worry about my age because I just picked a running mate
but
that's
if
really
it
not
is
qualified.
because of his age and he can't hold more than a 2-minute conversation, or he can't answer questions. That's why it's like if we just remove the veil and just realize that it's not really Biden who's going to be running the country. It's his advisors, it's his counselors. He got a lot of people to support him. That's going to be the person running the country, or people running the country. Biden's just the face. So look past the face and know who's really running the country. Then we're good.
That's why the country is not going anywhere right now legislatively, because Congress is not doing anything. And remember, if you don't get Congress to work, the House and the Senate has to operate. And if the House and the Senate doesn't operate, the president doesn't get anything to sign into law. There's nothing he can get
But
done.
what I'm saying is
He
that
can have a lame
you don't
duck
have to rely.
presidency.
You don't have to rely on Biden. If he's in the office, regardless or not, you don't have to rely on Biden to be the one that's running the presidency. So if he can't put two sentences, if we was just honest and just say, it doesn't matter if he can put two sentences together because he's probably not even in the room. They got people running it and it's going to be better than Trump. End of story. It ain't going to be Kamala. It ain't going to be Biden. It's going to be a group of people who've been there for a long time, that runs the country, that keeps it smooth, that makes sure that we're not going into no war.
So let me ask you a question, because you
Then
look
we're
like
good.
you're living in a movie. Who do you think it is?
I think it's the advisors that
What
Congress vote on to nominate, like the national security, the CIA,
You think those people are
I think
passing
the
law?
head departments are people who come up with the plan,
Mhm.
and then any other president would just sign off on it. I don't think Biden. I think they're like, okay, we're gonna this is the best plan, you guys. Let's move forward.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That is better. 10 people who are like the heads of all the departments, who are, stable mentally, are better than one Trump and whoever cabinet that he decides to come in and be just as crazy as him.
You know who I blame for all this?
Scandal.
Ronald Reagan. Ronald
Well,
Reagan is the
That's true.
That-
the
that's
reason
a-
we're in this position.
Yes.
For most of
it
these
You gonna leave
is.
me hanging?
Oh, all the way.
You don't want to blame Ronald Reagan?
No, I don't want to blame Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, I'm
Your
gonna blame
parents
Ronald
voted for
Reagan.
him.
I'm gonna-
They did. My parents are Republicans. I say that there is hope for you out there.
I blame Ronald Reagan for all this. The student loan problem.
Yeah, my parents were.
All
were.
I'm just
But
saying is people.
but listen to me.
Biden is not running the country,
I
and it's
think-
okay. We're not in wars.
I
and
think-
the cabinet will hold it down until they find someone else who can actually do the job.
I think you're wrong, and
You think Biden's out
but
there
I'm gonna let you.
slewing
I'm gonna
10
let you
sentences
keep-
together?
You got to remember now, you can disagree with his racial platform or his positions regarding race when he was a young
can't think.
senator. You got to stop for a second. When you look at this man's experience, it's kind of like sometimes when I go to court and I'm looking at a judge and I'm like, oh my God, this judge is too old to do this job. The support staff is who's actually running this courtroom. because the judge can't even remember, okay, which case are we calling? Okay, so is that one going to trial? Is that one not going to trial? But at the end of the day, there is something to be said about the number of years this judge has seen statutes, ruled on cases, understood case law, applied the Constitution, applied the state Constitution, separate from the U.S. Constitution. And you cannot discount that experience.
That's a false equivalency.
No, what I'm saying to you is you're looking at somebody that was in the Senate at sesuch a young age. They used to say he was too young to be a senator.
But that's why you can't even bring that up, because he was doing racist laws when he was in the Senate.
Here's the thing: you're conflating whether he knows how to do the law or the job versus what his position is. No,
exactly. I'm not conflating that. His position when he was that young was one of racism, was one of lack of integrity. He didn't have any. He wasn't for black people. So his decision making has not been a good record.
Okay, so you might disagree with his policies or his position regarding stuff, but his experience as it pertains to
his
knowledge
to be
of
wrong,
how it works, he knows how it works. When you have somebody,
you get a cabinet to do the job when you're that old.
That's saying to you, these 9th-month births. What? 9th month birth? What month do you want the baby to be born, sir?
But are we? Let's not listen. Both of them can't put sentences together.
Okay, so where's the third? So you voting for Kennedy?
But I guess I think what we need to
we
need to educate our voters. I mean, the people who watch this show, is to tell them, don't worry.
We can't tell people don't worry.
It's not Biden.
Worry, honey.
It's not Biden who's running the presidency. Because if you see this empty-eyed, glazed over, crypt keeper looking man and think
wait. Can't speak about Mitch McConnell like that.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You would be scared.
You cannot speak. That man froze in front of that microphone.
If he would have made a smart decision, he should have resigned himself and allowed.
Let me tell you something,
Vice President
We're
Harris
gonna close
to
this show because listeners, we don't want to keep you up all night. We're gonna close the show with one thing.
They didn't want to give it to her.
Atlanta
and now we stuck
has been voted as the number 2 city in the United States.
Come get this house. I got you.
ATL. Kudos to Atlanta.
Yeah.
But you know what? I really wanted to close the gate and stop everybody else from moving here from the north and send everybody pre-1996 back to whatever state they came from.
You didn't tell them about how they dropped the Trump docket.
We'll tell them next week.
Okay. He's going to be old and decrepit.
That's right. He old and decrepit too, so it matches.
So I guess it's a triple threat.
It sure is.
Him, them documents, and Biden. Just tell him right quick.
Nope, we ain't telling. We'll tell him next week. Okay. Stay tuned. Tune in next week on Diva Court. Okay? Find us every week on Spotify. Oh, you trying to get a job with Spotify now? You keep switching it up. Apple Podcasts. Apple and Google Podcasts.
Google us, you can.
Look for our videos every Wednesday on YouTube as we push them out real good. Colors today was money green. If you missed it, go take a look, listeners. And as we say here on Diva Court when we close the show, we'll drink to that. You are something else.
I'll go in for another 20 minutes if you let me.
That's why I had to cut you off. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Have a good night.
Look, it's past my bedtime. Not just Biden's.